This man is positive. You can hear it. He's not faking it. This is who he is. He's consistent. You know, last time we talked about consistency. This man is consistent.
That's the key.
He'll call you playing 7999949. You know, he just be like hype about it. I heard he comes from Charlotte Douglas and he retired and now he's over at Concord.
Okay.
But you know that man, I don't know his name, but it's an amazing thing, man. Being in aviation, it's amazing. But I do want it to be known that I just, for me, yes, I did it for myself, but I also did it to show others like me that it's possible, man.
Right.
It's possible.
And that's the key. I think you said a mouthful today. I mean, bringing in consistency from the last time. Fail, but keep trying. Fail, but get up. Overcoming challenges.
Fall, but get up.
Fall, but get up. And then try new things. And I think that, step outside of your comfort zone. You have given us today. I'm gonna go home, rewatch the video, and it's all. You say you're working on a book.
Yeah, I'm actually working on the 7 Habits of a Hustler. So the reason I even thought to write that book was as I told you in last meeting, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. In the beginning, it tells you when you read this book, read it to teach.
Right.
Because when you read it to teach, you take it in a little better.
Yeah.
And you want to master it. So when I read that book, I would get habit 1 down pat, live it. Right. I wouldn't move on to 2 until I start to truly naturally live habit 1.
Right.
And then I said, dang, I realized the change that what it did to me in my life. So I'm like, I've been telling a couple friends, or I tell people that are close to me to read it, and I notice a lot of people aren't reading it. And even for me, it was hard to read. I had to finish some of it on YouTube because it's just boring.
Right.
It was it's an older book written by a guy, a white man that can't relate. Some of these examples are not going to be relatable to us. So I was like, why don't I come up with our version?
I like that.
Something that we can relate to. So 7 Habits of a Hustler. And the reason I like the word hustler, because no matter how my goal with the book, if you look at hustler being, legit businessman that just go-getter attitude, that's what you'll get from that.
Right.
But if you read it thinking hustler, the drug dealer, you're also going to get that.
Right.
But it's still, no matter what you were hoping to get, you're going to get what you need. And that's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Right.
So it's paying homage to Stephen Covey, and I'm using examples like I'll use, business examples, but I'll use drug dealer language.
Right.
So the drug dealer would notice the language, but the regular person that never dibbled and dabbed in that, they would never notice. They would never know that. So I was speaking code to this party, but to help this party.
Right.
Ultimately, I'm doing that to help anybody that grabs the book can get the ultimate message, and that's to obviously put first things first. I'm not putting them in order.
Right.
Put first things first. Be proactive. See the big picture. That's important. Sharpen your saw. Can't remember exactly how the habit is worded, but being able to work better with others.
Okay.
Communicate with others better.
Yeah.
Because in that it's like, all too often when people are speaking, like me and you disagree on something.
Right.
I'm trying to basically tell you how I feel, and I'm rebuttaling to tell you how I feel. Even when you start talking, most of the time, people aren't even listening to why you want to do something, why you feel this way. They're not even listening. They're just listening to rebuttal.
Right.
But in the book, it's like it teaches you to communicate effectively. Let me hear you with no bias. Let me truly hear you, because it's your way and my way, but the best way is the way that when you put your thoughts and my thoughts, the best way is the third way.
Yeah.
Us together. our thoughts together.
Yeah.
Because now you're happy, I'm happy, and we're getting,
We can
our
take
goal.
we can take the best of both of our
Right.
ideas, the best of our both worlds,
Right.
and combine it to have an awesome product or an awesome idea.
Right.
I've always been told, someone very wise told me, collaboration over competition.
Correct.
I think what you said, a lot of people, and even in, that's so applicable to many different things. Communication is key. Relationships, you always hear it. A lot of times, these relationships fail because I feel a way, and I'm very strong about how I feel. And you're telling me something, I'm not really listening. Like I'm just listening to respond. Sometimes you need to listen to receive.
Correct. And, even on that aspect, there's the other person that, the relationship can fail because they don't feel comfortable speaking.
Yeah.
So it's not that they want it their way. They just don't feel like you're going to perceive it. So they feel like they can't talk. So they imagine getting to a point where you're holding everything inside.
Right.
You get to a point where you're just like, screw it. You start to not be happy. You start to resent your partner.
Yeah.
Versus loving your partner. There's no one's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But communicate. Even if you guys don't work, why didn't you work?
Right.
Let's talk about it.
And then
Talk about it. Hey, I'm here now. Because you guys might do an update and
Right.
you no longer realize this is not the man for me, or this
Right.
is not the woman for me.
and that's okay.
And that's okay.
Right.
Because you came in this world by yourself, you're gonna die by yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like you're allowed to be happy.
Yeah.
And if it means that this is your partner no longer make you happy, but you communicated and you're still gonna be good people together,
Right.
and you both agree, hey, why did this not work? Well, I feel like we're here, this happened. Now she may speak and say, you know what, this is this because of this.
Right.
Okay, I agree with that. And what do we do now? Well, yada yada yada, and then you come to a mutual agreement. It shouldn't be my way or your way. Let's come up with the best way.
Exactly. And really, that's how a lot of people find new partners. I can't communicate with you, so now I'm telling Bob at work how I feel, and Bob at that time is on the same wavelength as I feel. Now we've established a relationship. We've established a connection together because I can't talk to my partner, so now I'm talking about this outside relationship.
Man, I don't get why people do that, man. Venting to everybody about their life, man. Because everybody, I've learned, man, everybody don't want what's best for you. Your own circle don't want what's best for you. You'll be surprised how the ones that you thought were your friends and thought were your circle, they really want to see you fail. Your relationships, your life, everything.
Yeah.
Hence why you can start up a clothing brand and everybody supports you but your circle. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy, man?
They
won't support you until you make it. Till everybody, till the world notice you, then your circle will support you. Because now it's cool to support you.
Because it's
That's weird.
It's jealousy. It comes from. We all started out in high school together,
Yeah.
and we go through life, and I'm actually living it now, or I'm making it happen. Because you ain't doing it, you don't want me to do it. You're hating on me.
Right.
And it's crazy, bro. Like, I felt that right there on a spiritual level, what you just said. I even thought about putting out books under an aliens. And aliens. Cause I'm like, I'm just going to post it. Like, yeah, it's a great book, read it. And people will probably buy it because I didn't write it. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy that you
It's
have
funny
this
that
thought.
you think that because even I, because, which is weird. And I don't want to talk about that, but in high school, a lot of people, I guess, I've rubbed some people the wrong way. In my younger days.
It happens.
Which is crazy because I still to this day don't know why a lot of people have a problem with it. But that's neither here nor there. You're not gonna make everybody happy.
Right, exactly.
Um,
Learn that early.
But it's for me it's just weird that the same way that you got to do things like I'll do something and I won't put my name behind it. I'll do it and put it out there, but I'm not gonna I might put it in someone else's name.
Right.
I'll let somebody else be the face.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole daycare thing. I was the brains as far as the business, but my director was the brains as far as the operations. But she'll tell you, I wanted obviously my name would be on the paperwork, when it comes to finances, but I wanted her name on everything.
Right.
I wanted her name on everything because I didn't want people to see me as Deron as a person or see the tatted up guy and now they see maybe I'm, they perceive me to be something I'm not. They assume something about me that's inaccurate. So it sucks that you can't put your name on stuff. You gotta kind of hide, your success because your own circles be the ones that are not you.
But I guess that kind of goes to
Or your
your inner circle.
old circle.
Yeah.
Because they shouldn't be in your circle anymore once you find it out.
But honestly, man, I think that comes from, and a lot of people see that and stop or slow their momentum. It comes from being comfortable with yourself.
Correct.
Because then you don't need that validation. I don't need my best friends to share my post. I'm gonna still go out and do it. But I think some people do stuff and they don't get the shares, they don't get the like. A lot of times you'll see people post a picture
Delete it.
and they'll delete it after a couple hours when they get the likes.
Dude,
and then repost it again.
Let me tell you, I've learned the easiest way to understand this generation is to stop trying to understand it. It is filled with some weirdo shit, bro.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weirdo shit going on.
Damn, I posted this picture for an hour, only got 5 likes. It's okay, people are busy. I don't gotta like every picture I like.
But that's the problem. People do everything for everyone else. And that's why I tell it's important to read that book. I wasn't to that extent, but I learned that I was emotionally dependent on people.
Yeah.
I would do things hoping to get some attention from somebody I just want to be cool with, or some lady friends, or whatever. But then when I was like, hold on, man, I don't need people to make me happy.
Right.
I don't need people to motivate me. I'm me. I'm my greatest gift.
Exactly.
Can't nobody push me harder than I push myself. Can't nobody make me happier than I make myself. Only I know what I want. So I started becoming emotional independent. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, you want to work from being dependent to independent to interdependent.
Right. Yeah, that's the key, man. I mean, like I say, you're giving us a lot, man. We've talked about every time we get together and we talk, and you guys might not know this, but we'll go back and forth about trying to get a time. It's mainly me, but I'll be like, I don't know, man. Today I'm going to
I never met a guy that wants to chat with me, but don't make time for me.
I'm working on it, man. But you guys don't know, it's a lot behind the scenes, like trying to get these together. And every time I'm like, this is gonna be the last one. But every time I'm like, I don't want this to be the last one. Like every time we talk, it's a different outcome, and it's always positive.
But as I told you, I'm all about supporting you, man. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to share a little bit about me, because I guess people feel like I'm closed off, which I know I am. I do that on purpose.
Right.
Because if you don't know but so much, then you don't know how to.
Right. Different ways you can't hurt me.
Correct. That's just a defense mechanism. And to protect myself. And if you don't know but so much, then you can't break it down. I guess still you can't hurt me or hurt what I'm working on.
Right.
So with that being said, man, I'm just grateful that you allowed me the opportunity. But, and again, I appreciate what you just said, but I want to be able to put you in position to, be able to.
I got 30 no kids. I know you mentioned you had a daughter and a son, right?
Yeah, I have a daughter. I have 2 boys.
Okay, 2 boys.
However, that's what I have here. But I will admit I have which I don't talk much about it because that's been a battle. That's been a hard place for me. I technically have a 13-year-old. His name is Elijah. Had him when I was in the military. His mom was pregnant with him when I was in the military. That's been a battle, man. I've tried to take child support on myself.
Yeah.
Commonwealth state isn't really easy to fight that battle, especially when I don't know where she lives. So I have to live with kind of feeling like a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
But I have, I'm doing my part to show that when that time comes, I've never quit him. I never forgot who he was, and I'll have evidence to show that. So I count, that's obviously my child, so I have to add that. And I had two children pass away, so I don't forget about them, my twins,
Right.
Jaden and Jada. Those are my babies, so I definitely count those also. Even though unfortunately that they're not here, those are still my babies. So with that being said, I have six children.
And they say, I honestly condolences first, but they say there's no pain of having an experience losing a child. Talk a little bit more about that experience and what happened. How did it affect you as a person at that
Um, I would say, man, um, most that's one of the most horrible experiences that 'cause I guess as a parent, you just pray to die
time? Right,
for your
kids.
children.
Yeah.
A parent should not be burying their child. The child should bury the parent.
Right.
And I think the hardest part is, I have moments where, my son passed, he gasped for his last breath in my hands. As I'm holding him, he's just gasping for air. And there's nothing I can do. So there's moments where, where you just feel weak, you feel like, that I couldn't do anything. There's nothing I can do. And as a father, you're supposed to protect.
Right.
Um, so I have to live with that. Sometimes there's that guilt feeling. In the beginning, there was a lot of guilt.
Yeah.
Um,
But why were you feeling guilty on your part?
because I felt like I didn't put up a fight. I didn't put up a fight that, looking back, I think, could I have done more? Yeah, I feel like I could have done more. Maybe urged the doctors and pushed them and demanded more from the doctors at the hospital. To me, I feel like they just didn't care. They took away the one, like God creates miracles.
Right.
They took away that miracle. They took away that. Um, and you said what happened after that. I was in a really dark place, man. Um, shit. Truth be told, I mean, as I told you today, I promise to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I was almost gonna be a mass shooter at that hospital. Um, it hurt, man. It hurt. Um, I would say, this is it's just rough, man. I don't really want to talk too much about it, too much more. Man. But yeah, it's just rough.
Definitely understand that, man. I mean, and like I said, I can relate in a sense. I just empathize with you. I mean, you're feeling pain, and honestly, the natural reaction as a human is, I feel this pain. Everybody must feel the pain. So definitely understand that. But I believe these challenges that we have, God puts them in our way. We might not understand it at that time, but it puts us in a position to become a different person that God wants us to be.
Well, and again, I don't really want to talk too much about it. It's really hard for me to talk about that. But I'm just glad that I was able to help someone else that I know that experienced that. Recently. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate that anybody has to go through that. But at least when a friend of mine was going through it, I was able to support him, not from a place where, man, I'm sorry you're going through that, because I know what he's going through.
Right.
You don't want to hear that.
Right. It's the last thing.
That's the last thing you want to hear. You don't want to hear, oh man, I know what you're going through, or sorry you're going through that. Like, are you really? At that point, you just like, man, just shut up.
Right.
You don't want to hear from nobody. Because you're burying your child.
Right.
So for me, just being able to be there for him, and be able to help somebody go through that, and constantly call and check up on him, make sure he's good, and tell him the support group I went to. I don't really know if he ended up going, because he's a strong individual also. So,
Right.
But just let him know, like, get that out. I know you're hurt. Get that out. I never got it out, and there's moments now where I just randomly, it breaks me down. because I didn't get that out, and to this day I still never got it out. I struggle even going to the grave. I haven't been to the grave since burying, because that is something that I live with. It's hard. It's almost like I'm dodging them because of the guilt, low key.
Right.
Even though I didn't do anything.
Right.
I just didn't do enough.
I don't know. That's like I said, it's a tough topic to speak on, and I just couldn't imagine. But you have beautiful kids that are living here and thriving, and like I said, you're working hard every day to make sure you're supporting for them.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at the whole scope of Deron, you have success, you have failures, you have heartbreaks, you have new projects, you have failed projects. What's the biggest lesson or the best lesson that you've learned throughout your entire life this morning?
Repeat that. I apologize. That was a whole nother.
Oh, no problem. We got a little heavy. So,
yeah, I'm sorry, man.
You have all these different challenges that have come. You have success, you have failures, projects. You've been, honestly, man, I can't keep up with all the different things that you've done. It's so much. I have to go back and watch the tape, and I need to take notes. What's the most important lesson that you've learned? Or is it not possible to narrow it down to one?
If I have to choose one, what separates me from anyone else is not that I have any special powers. I'm not given. I don't have any special gifts. I'm normal. I'm just like you. I'm no different from you. The only difference is, and a lot of people know this about me that are close to me, I'll try anything.
Yeah.
I'll do try to fail work, so I'll do anything.
It's only talking to the dolphin and whatever.
To try to make things happen. If something doesn't work, then I'm gonna try a new way. Excuse me, like people keep asking about my clothing brand. My clothing brand didn't fail. I'm just not wanting to put it out because I noticed everybody coming up with t-shirt companies now, coming up with clothing brands, t-shirt companies.
I love that about that.
My point. And it was a passion of mine, and it is a passion of mine. I just want to separate myself from the pack. So I'm in no rush. I'm on my time, not the world's time.
Right.
So I just failure is only falling and not getting back up. So when you ask me what's the one takeaway, what's the greatest advice I can give what was given to me from my pops. He told me failure is only falling and not getting back up. If you fall, it's okay.
It's alright.
It's okay. You're going to fall. You're not going to be great at everything.
Right.
As I told my son one day, he was crying because he likes to be perfect when he draws. He loves drawing and stuff like that. And, it was a little out of the lines. And he was crying about it. I'm like, son, it's okay, man. I get it. You want to be perfect. But it's okay to be flawed sometimes at certain things. You're not going to be great at everything. You're not going to be perfect at everything. It's okay. It's okay for you to fall. Just don't quit, though.
Right.
Just don't quit. So when you quit, then you have failed.
Right. Now you're a failure.
Correct.
Because you're continuing to do it. I think I was watching an interview, not an interview, I think Denzel Washington was speaking at a college, at their graduation.
I think I've seen that.
And he was talking about fail a lot, but get up and continue to try again. And I think what you said, and that attests to why you do so many things. In a million years, I would never say, hot damn, I'm going to fly a plane. And I see your post, you're literally, bro, sometimes I look at your page, I could be having a bad day. I see it, I'm like, this man is the goat. Like, you just do so many different things. And honestly, bro, and this is not for the camera, like, on a personal level, bro, you're such an inspiration to even, like, hear some of the things that you've gone through. I don't know how. I went through a little bit, and I guess it's all relative. I go through a couple heartbreaks. I think my world about to end.
Yeah. First off, man, I want to thank you. But you're not the only one that recently told me that. And I thank everyone that looks to me for inspiration, which is why if you look at my Instagram, I'm constantly posting things to inspire people.
Yeah, you're one of the most
You
popular
know,
people actually.
there's times where I'll give you my 24 hours on purpose to
Right.
show you. You know, you can see me flying planes, you can see me doing this, and it looks fun, or you can see me traveling on trips doing this, or eating at a nice restaurant.
Right.
But let me show you the work that goes in behind this too. So for me, I really appreciate everyone that feels I inspire them, because let it be truth be told, it inspired, like, it makes me feel good. It makes me go harder.
Right.
Because now I'm like, oh shit, they're looking at me. They're
Right.
watching. I'm not doing. Granted, I wasn't doing it for that purpose. But when people come here, when other your peers come to you.
No, for you, you said it earlier. You want to help other people.
Correct.
You want to water them, and if seeing me on Instagram do all this stuff motivates you, then I'm happy to do it.
Correct. There you go. Because I get DMs of people like, man, thank you. I was having a bad day.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So that's really why I do it. Some people get tired of it. Some people laugh at it. And,
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna sit here and say those posts mean I'm the most positive person on earth. I'm not. Right? I'm flawed just like any other human being. However, I just I'm grateful for that God put me in a position to help others.
Right.
In any way, if it's inspiration, cool. I'm grateful to do that.
Amen.
So it pushes me. I can't fail.
Right.
Because if I fail, then I'll let you down.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that deep down inside. I feel like I let you down. Damn, JT looking at me, and I wasn't successful. I just fell off the map, where I fell off.
Right.
Or if something happened, I'm locked up, or whatever the situation is, I let you down.
Right.
And so that's why a lot of me, I changed my life. Like, I changed the way I move. I don't really club like people. I might get invited to go out. I don't do that.
Right.
I don't really care to do that, because I don't want to put myself in environments where I'm not comfortable already, and it can put me at risk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's key. I think learning and navigating this maze we call life is a part of being a little bit more cautious about your surroundings and knowing yourself. You got to know yourself, because you can get put in certain situations, have all the intents on it going smooth, you having a good time, but a little piece of you know that there's a chance that something bad can happen. And I feel like there's certain times where you got to be smart, and you got to say, does the risk outweigh the reward?
Correct.
Here? Is it really worth the risk is so bad, or it's so much bad can happen, and I can get a little bit of good. Just stay out of the situation.
Right.
Save yourself a lot of time, effort.
Well, I'm also going to share something while you're talking. I was thinking, another reason I stopped going out, I just changed my environment. When I'm around people, you don't have to be successful for me to want to be around you.
Right.
I just want to be around people that want to win.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be around winners. So when I go out here, there's some successful people in the VIP, so I'm not counting them.
Right.
But if there's a packed out club of 300 people, I would say it's safe to say 250, 240 of them are paycheck to paycheck. So if that's where people that live that lifestyle if that's what they're doing, I don't want to partake.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want that energy to rub off on me. Where are the successful people hanging out?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
If they at the cigar shops, or they're sipping, a glass of nice, tequila or something nice, laid back, networking, or flying planes. I network when I'm flying planes. I'm meeting business people.
Because you're in a different class of folks.
Correct.
Not everybody, walking around the street flying planes.
Correct.
People flying planes got I don't even know, and I don't even want to try to imagine the amount of time you have to dedicate
A lot.
to study, to watch videos, to learn, to be with an instructor. And matter of fact, I think you were flying a plane by yourself.
Yeah.
Goodness. You was up in the sky. I need to stay inside.
I'm honestly, I'm basically done. I'm done. I'm just waiting. My trainer, he's on vacation, and he has to be here for my check ride. Which check ride is basically where you fly with an examiner, and they examine your skills. They put you in emergencies.
kind of
Yeah,
sort
but
of
a
a
little
different,
more.
more in depth.
Yeah, because you gotta think, you gotta know your emergency procedures, and you gotta know it like that. You don't,
Yeah.
you know, when you're up in the air and the engine goes out, or you know your engine on fire, you don't have time to like, oh, let me pull over, let me call for help.
Yeah.
No, you are your help. You have to know what do I do, and you have to remain calm because you still gotta fly the plane.
How what do you do when the engine cuts off? Mayday. That's not.
If
Oh.
the engine, I mean, to be honest, you know, to truly answer that question, you get to your glide speed, know your plane, know what plane you're at, get to your glide speed, and glide down to say, you know, find a place to land, and hope that you pick the right place. Because you can't go back up.
Yeah.
Once you're going down,
Once you
you're
make
going
that
down.
decision, you gotta stick with
So
it.
whatever it is, and so those are things that you really have to do to get your pilot license. So I'm just proud of myself, man. I was just talking to my pops yesterday, um, and even I told my trainer when I first met him. He asked me, "What made you want to get your pilot license?" I just want to show, you know, I looked up and I seen. I've always wanted to do it,
Yeah.
but what really pushed me was when I found out that African Americans are 1% of all the pilots that's out there. We're only 1%.
That's it.
And even with me, when I was looking into it at first, I looked into this 3 years ago.
Right.
I just didn't believe that it was possible. Especially look at me. I'm tattooed, but dude, I'm not the most
Stereotypical one.
stereotypical, guy. I'm not gonna be walking around polos and slaps and all
I
that.
mean, but when you think about it, growing up, I'm thinking about it now. I don't think I ever heard anybody
That's
saying,
the point.
"I want to go be a pilot." Never. That never. You know, you hear the typical one, doctor, lawyer, blase, but pilot
Correct.
never
Correct.
crossed anybody's mind that I know.
So for me, it's not a flex. It's about showing people that look truly like me, that come from where we come from,
Right.
and show them you can do it. If I can do it, why can't you? I just want to show people it's possible, even if it's not aviation. Just show that it's possible to want something and to want to do something and have a goal and have a dream and to actually achieve it.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. There's times where man I wanted to quit. I remember.
What's next?
For me, man, I would say I really want to work on our community as far as when it comes to mental health. I don't think I think a lot of people,
It's taboo.
even my therapist, I was speaking with her the other day, and a lot of the PTSD, some, not a lot, but some of it comes from the military.
Yeah.
However, I told her I'm all about if there's a problem, I'm gonna find a solution.
Right.
So I was trying to find my own. I was working on finding my own solution. And one thing I thought about, I said, man, people that grow up in the projects or the hood or
Yeah.
the ghetto, whatever you want to call it, that grow up in poverty, they deal with real PTSD also.
Yeah.
Look at Chicago. You don't think them kids, dealing with that, watching their friend,
Get
get
shot.
murdered
Yeah.
and shot and stabbed, and or Brooklyn or where I'm from in Rochester or Buffalo or
Hell,
Detroit.
here in Charlotte, man, it's getting like
Yeah,
that.
Charlotte getting like that. You don't think these kids are dealing with PTSD and these kids, grow to be teenagers and then grow to become men that never get to deal with that because we're taught in the community you're weak if you show emotion.
Say that again.
I'm just now getting to a point where I'm comfortable crying.
Right.
I cried more this year than I probably cried my entire life that I know of. Obviously, as a kid, I probably not cried,
Right.
but that I know of this year.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting to a point I'm comfortable with that. I'm letting that out.
It's a
Because
statement.
by not letting it out,
Yeah.
I'm building rage inside.
Yeah.
So I want to build, what people can expect from me in the next years is to, hopefully by then I'll have my nonprofit up. I'm in the beginning. This is something I just came up with last week. So I don't know what direction I want to go in, but I just know at the end of the year, 5 years from now, 3 to 5 years to answer your question, I really want to be able to help communities, even if it just starts locally, help our people deal with PTSD. Help them so that way they can become better men.
Yeah.
And try to grab them while they're a teenager before they get to that man, while they're still molding to who they are, while they're still maturing.
That's
Granted, I feel like you're always maturing to the day you die.
Yeah.
But while you're at that early age, I want to be able to catch those guys.
Right. Because, like you said, and I only can speak about the black community, but it is so frowned upon to struggle with something and talk to somebody.
Correct.
And then even taking it further, being a man and showing any kind of weakness or chink in your armor, now you're weak. Now you're
a bitch. They call you
yeah,
a bitch.
you're a bitch.
You know?
And all you do is you take this kid who experiences some hardship, some type of trauma as a 7 to 10-year-old. They go to high school, middle school, they have this built up rage. And then you wonder why he's beating on his girlfriend when he's 20.
Correct.
And I'm not.
Or why he's doing things, becoming a criminal. Why he's doing
right.
those things.
Why are they doing that? And I'm not saying, you beat, but you never worked out those problems
Correct.
as a child.
Correct.
Now you're in your adult life, you don't know how to act.
Women too. They don't know, they deal with certain things with not having their fathers present.
Yeah.
That creates some type of mental disorder. Or if you go PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. You don't think that's causing some stress? The trauma of seeing certain things and not having certain things, that's trauma. People need to look at what trauma means.
Yeah.
So I feel like that girl, that's why a lot of our women don't respect themselves.
Yeah.
Because they don't love themselves.
Well now,
because they're dealing with stress.
Yeah.
So the goal in that is to help our black men and women, young men and women, become better because they are our future. I can't change the world, but I can promise you, and I'm telling you this today, I can promise you I'm going to do my part. I can promise that.
And that's all you can ask. If you do your part, you help. Even if you affect one life, you don't know what that person could have done years from now. They could have went to the mall and shot them all. You don't know. You just saved a bunch of lives, affecting one life.
Correct.
So I think that's something that's definitely needed, man. And honestly, bro, if you ever want to, let me know, man, because I'm all for nonprofit stuff.
Correct.
I'll do whatever I can do to help out too as well. So yeah, let me know. I'd love to collaborate on that. So we got the nonprofit. You're on your mission to change some lives. What else you got going on?
All the other stuff is, to me, to be dead honest, is relevant to be able to do that. But if we're talking about a purpose, my end goal is to take care of I don't really care. I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at. I move on my own time. I do what I want to do, not in a cocky way, but obviously, but in a way, if I don't agree with something, I don't have to do it.
Right.
I work for myself, so I work hard. But if I don't want to work today, if I'm tired, I'm not feeling it. I don't have to. Or if I don't want to go left, I want to go right. I don't have to answer to you. I don't have to follow this group. I don't have to do those things. So I'm happy, bro. For me, I just want to be able to maintain what I'm doing, make a little more, so that way I can start working on giving back and bettering our community. It meant everything. A good friend of mine asked me to talk to some troubled kids out there in Monroe. And these are things I don't post because I don't do things. And I'm only talking about this because I told you the truth, nothing but the truth, and all the truth. I don't talk about these things because I don't want recognition.
Right.
If anybody really looks at what I do and how I do it, I'm not asking for recognition. I do a lot. I help the homeless people. I was almost homeless. I was literally one phone call away of living out of my suburban in 2013. Into 2012, beginning of 2013. I was literally one phone call away. If that person would have said, no, I can't stay there, I'd have been sleeping in my suburban. So I help the homeless people. I don't do it for shine. I don't do it for credit, for a pat in the back. I do it because it matters. Somebody has to. Somebody got to do what God, what God is putting them in to do. I just feel like everybody, worried about how things look. Why can't you sit down with this homeless person and talk with them and make them feel good? You might motivate that person just by that.
Exactly.
To want to do better. Because now they got a taste of that hot plate. Now they're like, shit, I want this more.
Yeah.
I forgot how this was. Let me clean up. Let me get off these drugs if they're on drugs. Let me stop drinking if they're alcohol. Let me do better.
Right.
Let me become a better father. And all it might take is that meal.
Yeah.
So if you want to ask me what I want to do, I don't want to talk about other businesses. I don't really, I care about them, but that's not my end all be all. What motivates me, what I want to become is a person that can help others. That is my end goal. I want to die knowing that I helped others. I lived out what God sent me here to do,
Right.
and that's to help others win, help others become better. If I don't do that, then all that other stuff is relevant to me.
That, that's right. I mean, that's right in line with what we're supposed to be doing anyway.
Correct.
Going off of the Bible, I mean, showing people or helping people get to where they're trying to go. That should be everybody's purpose. Like, could you imagine how helpful the world would be if more people were like that?
Dude, it's funny because you spoke on it earlier and I never answered it. Our community. So I have a bunch of white friends and a bunch of black friends, or associates. Because I really only have a couple of people that I call friends,
Right.
true friends.
Yeah.
And actually I call them brothers.
Right.
Those are like my big brothers.
Right.
And it's funny because one's white, one's black. They're actually not part of this example, but they're both really good people. They're both helpful, so they're not part of this example. If you got this group of white people, they support each other.
Yeah.
They help each other build.
Yeah.
They network together. They'll, if you're an attorney, they'll be like, oh, I got this person. Call this person. They'll send everybody. Even if this person fixes houses and does stuff around houses, hey man, call this person.
It's everyone who's not black, Hispanics,
Correct.
Indian.
Correct. You can go
Everybody.
to any city. I don't care, even in the outskirts. There's a Spanish town.
Yeah.
South Boulevard. That's Spanish.
Yeah.
They got their own stores. They
Yeah.
have their own restaurants. They have their own card
Yeah.
places. They have everything they own. They even
Yeah.
have their own little bank, their own grocery store.
And they don't even see this. What I'm telling you.
They keep their money within their circle. But our community, I don't know. I feel like we still struggle with that slave mentality. You ask, why don't others help one another? I don't understand that, and it upsets me, bro. Because if you got the knowledge
Why not do it? Why
to
not
get
share
this
it?
person, that put him in a better position, to help him from making his mistakes, from losing his last couple dollars, trying to see his dream come true. If you could stop this man and help him to put his money, if he's about to invest in himself, to put it in to spend it in the right places. If you can help him, why not? For free. Too often we're worried about if I help him and he get on, it's
Yeah,
gonna
be
take
better
from
than
me.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't have that mentality. You guys, why do I do it? Because you're not me. I can give you all the tools in the world.
You still never be.
You're not me.
Right.
One thing, I know one thing a person can't do is outwork me.
Right.
You can't. How many people do you know can fully function, with no sleep 2 days later? Go 40-something hours and no sleep,
Not
and
many.
still function perfectly fine.
Not many.
People have witnessed me do that. So you can't outwork me.
Right.
So why can I not help you? I'm not worried about you being my competition, because if it ever became a competitive thing, you can't outwork me.
Right.
You can't out hustle me. So
Back to
I
that,
don't
yeah.
mind giving whatever knowledge I have. I don't mind if you say, yo, I'm gonna start up a trucking company. Shit, call this person, do this thing.
That's what you gotta do. Here's the blueprint.
You want to start up a brokerage? Oh, this. I literally my homie the other day. Hey man, so you got his company up. Hey man, what should I do with this? I didn't like, all right, man, you got to deposit $200 or $2,000 in my account for me to continue to help you.
Right.
I didn't do that. Here, man, here's the answer to your question.
Right.
I don't get $1 from this company money. But why can't we do that more often? We would be so much better. So let me put it in, I don't want to harp on this too long, but I want people watching this to understand this. For our community, what we have to do for our community. Let's talk athletics.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna show you how deep this can get real fast.
Yeah.
And how fast it can better us.
Oh, yeah. I think I know.
Let's say
exactly
these
what
4 and 5-star recruits, they stop going to Clemson, Auburn, and all them schools. They start going to FAMU, John C. Smith, and
Exactly.
A&T. If you watch basketball and football, who's on the field? What's the race that's on the field?
Thank you for saying
Without
that.
black people in the NFL and NBA, there is no NFL and NBA. There is no culture in those sports.
Anything with
We are the
entertainment.
culture.
Anything with entertainment.
Correct. So my point is, if those 4 and 5-star recruits start going there, yes, it's going to be a struggle in the beginning for them.
Right.
Because they don't have the same, training staff or the same,
Right.
rooms or whatever to be able to put them, take
On
care of
the
them
level
on
that
that
they
type
need. Right.
like a Clemson. However, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X also, and Sojourner Truth and all them, and Frederick Douglass and all those people, they didn't get the luxuries we got today.
Right.
But Should they have not have done that to give us what we have
We are
today?
now.
So why don't we keep paying it forward? We got comfortable at some point, but back to those recruits, if those 4 and 5-star recruits go to these black schools, people are going to watch because we are the sport. We are the entertainment. So now people are going to be watching A&T play. This past draft, not one HBCU kid got drafted. This past draft. That's ridiculous. So,
because you know it's talent there.
Correct. It's ridiculous talent there.
Yeah.
So now you take those kids and they go there. Now what's going to happen? The money's going to come to these schools.
Right.
Now what happens with these schools because the money coming to these schools. Now you hire better professors. Now you got a better program. Now your engineering program, your nursing program, your law program. All these programs become better.
Exactly.
Now they're pristine.
Now,
Now that Johnson C. Smith, degree, whether you got it 10 years ago or you got it current day, now it holds weight up there with Harvard and Clemson and all those schools. It holds weight now.
Exactly.
Now when it comes to jobs, side by side, we're the same.
Right.
We're the same.
Exactly.
We have power now. We have power. If we stuck together,
we can do something.
We can do something. These athletes, they didn't want to do certain things, take knees, yada, yada, yada.
They don't want to be uncomfortable.
The part that tripped me out, Jerry Jones said he threatened his players, if you don't do this, then you're not playing, I'm not going to pay you, whatever he said. And they didn't do it. There's too many black people on that team for that to really have happened.
Exactly.
For any, and I'm not saying hate white people. I love white people.
Right.
I love that white people came out. Recently when all that happened with George Floyd, they came out and supported us because we needed that. Because if you go back to the Selma Walk in 64 or 65 or whatever that it was.
Right.
It didn't get a movement. It didn't get the movement until white people came and helped. So I'm not saying hate white people. I love white people.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, when Jerry Jones did that, it was like, yo, y'all really buckled down and listen to him. He had no control over you. We allow people to. We instead of feeling like we want to be accepted, why not have our own? Why are we not building our own? We have enough billionaires. We have enough multi-millionaires. We have enough $100,000. Why don't we all put together? It'd be like this person that he's on the practice squad, so he's scared to sit out because he needs the check.
Right.
Well, why don't this player is getting $100 million? Why don't he? If they all coming together, why don't he take care of this guy?
Right.
Take care of him.
Exactly.
Do you really need 50 houses?
You don't.
Do you really need 50 cars?
You always drive one at a time.
If you want a truck, fast car, luxury car, cool. I can understand that.
Right.
But you really need 50? But yet you got people starving in your community? So I just feel like we got to do better, man. The point is, we have to do better. If you want better, you have to do better.
Right.
And we're not doing better. To me, this is just my opinion. To me, we want the easy way still.
Yeah.
We still want stuff handed to us.
Exactly.
Back then, they didn't have it handed to them.
Right.
And now look at the result. We're loving the result.
Yeah.
But we're not done. We have to do our part.
It's just getting started.
We have to do our part. So if we did the same thing that they did back in the day, like Malcolm X and Journey of Truth and all them, what they did, just imagine what our kids would have and our grandchildren would have. At that point, we may have equality because we're not asking. We're coming to take it.
Right.
And I'm not saying in an aggressive way.
No.
But if you don't want us to play in your games or you don't want us to do that, that's cool. We create our own.
Exactly.
We are the culture. We are that.
And people are going to watch.
People are going to watch because watching, I'm not trying to be funny and this is not racist, but take the black players out of the NFL. That shit boring.
As hell.
That shit boring.
Yeah.
Take the black players out of the NBA. That shit boring. Yeah. Take people of color out of Major League Baseball.
Boring.
There's a lot of fucking Spanish people in there.
I mean, you take black people out of acting, music. There's a lot.
I say music, acting. I think there's still gonna be some good movies.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of good white actors, but I think this last thing I'm gonna say about it. I think Dr. Umar or whatever.
Yeah.
He says some good stuff. He says some outlandish stuff, but he basically said exactly what you just said. He's like, those black people, we're gonna be a little uncomfortable for a little bit for about 5 years,
right.
But then it's gonna be fine. And it kind of, for me,
we're too selfish.
We're too selfish.
White people are not selfish. Spanish people are not selfish. Asian people, they help one another.
Right.
Which is why they succeed. We are so selfish.
Yeah.
So back to your original question, if I'm gonna complain about it, I gotta do my part.
Yeah.
I have to. Just like I told my pop, who I thank for understanding me. He's a white man, but he understands how passionate I am about this. So when I told him he's giving me all this knowledge, I'm letting him know. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna pass it on to my fellow, black brothers and sisters.
Right.
Because we don't get to meet people like him.
Right.
So yes, I'm not gonna expose him and have everybody meet him.
Right.
But what I can do, I can just pass it on.
That's it.
I can keep what he's doing going on and hope that if I help this kid, let's say for example, I help you, and you knew I passed it on from him, you keep it going. You
Right.
do somebody, you do the same thing for somebody else. I just wish we got to that point, man. I really do. If we got to that point, we won't be asking we won't be asking to be accepted. We won't care. We'll do our own thing. Just like on an individual basis. I'm not asking for anybody to like me.
Right.
I'm not asking for you to accept me. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna kick the door down and do what I gotta do.
Right.
Whether you like me or not, I'm in here.
Right. And you have to deal with it or not.
You gotta deal with it.
Or
I paid my dues to be here.
Right.
You know?
I want you guys to know this has been one of those conversations, very candid. Deron, I just want to say thank you so much for
And thank you, brother. I
doing
appreciate
the
it.
show, man. Thank
I
you for
appreciate it, brother.
letting us talk. We're gonna get you back up here one of these days. We'll check back with you a couple months.
I told you, man, I do not like the camera. I don't like.
I know, but hey.
I like being behind the scenes, so I got you in the future, bro.
All right. You guys here, we'll have them back later on. Once again, this was Deron. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, man. Go out there, do the mission that you set out to do. We're supporting you. If you guys ever want to get involved, you know who to contact. I'm sure you're going to see a lot from this guy in the future. This has been a true pleasure. It's JT from Let's Find Out. Until next time.
Thank you.
Every time, bro, it's tough getting it together, but I do enjoy the conversation.
I think that shit was good. That last part.